Okay, welcome back, class. This is part 2 of Unit 6. I'll begin talking about admissions, transfer, and discharges. When you hear that you are getting an admission, there are certain things that you will be doing. You will go in and prepare the resident's room. Like I said, you're going to make an open bed. You're going to bring them a bath basin, water pitcher, all that, so it looks like you're expecting them. You're also going to let their roommate know before they get there that they're going to have a roommate. Introduce yourself to the resident and call him by his formal name, and you need to not rush the process. Show the resident how their bed works when they get there, because controls will be different for everyone. Explain the day-to-day life in the facility, what time is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where the snack cart is, where the vending machines are, whatever, what time activities are, those kind of things. Make sure their call light is close to the bed and explain how to use it. You want the call light right beside them. Explain how to work the television and the phone. Handle personal items with care and respect. So normally you're going to kind of hang up their stuff, put them in the drawers for them if they want you to. You're going to take an inventory. Now sometimes this is the nurse aide job and sometimes housekeeping does this, but there is an inventory list of everything they come in the facility list. So there's usually a check-off thing, how many shirts, how many pairs of socks, how many pairs of underwear, everything. That is done when they come in. You're going to help them put their items away. Usually we use some kind of Sharpie or something to put their names in everything. Some facilities have a little iron-on that you can iron on their name. If the resident has valuables, ask the nurse for instructions. So if they have money on them or diamond rings, stuff like that you feel like should be locked up, you need to note that. Every facility should have some kind of locker where they can lock up valuables. On admission, you should know this without being told, any admission, you're going to get their height, your weight, and a set of vital signs as soon as possible after they arrive. Baseline vital signs are initial values that can be compared to future measurements. Weight, use scales appropriate for the resident's ability. There's standing scales, chair scales, wheelchair scales, and bed scales. I did a little mini lesson on this, but this is move the small and large weight indicators until the bar balances. So the balance bar should be right in the center when they're at the correct weight. The bottom numbers are 50 increments. This is just pounds on this one. And the top is 0 through 50 that you would add to. So this person on here would weigh 150 plus 19, they would weigh 169. Think about this question: why should any change in a resident's weight be reported right away? I'll answer it for you since this is a video. One thing is we're keeping an eye on nutrition. Another thing is someone on congestive heart failure or kidney failure. If they have fluid weight gain, that could mean that they're needing either dialysis or change in medication to get the fluid off of them. This is height. So when you see that bar on the top should be at a 90-degree angle on the top of their head. And when they stand on the scale, they're going to stand facing away from the scale. If they don't have shoes on, you're going to put a paper towel down. If you have to measure them in the bed, this is how you do that. You just use a tape measure and you draw a line at their feet and then draw a line at the top of their head while the bed is flat, and measure that way. 1 foot equals 12 inches, 5 foot, 60 inches, so on and so forth. Transfers. Residents may be transferred to another room within a facility, or they may need to be transferred to a different unit that offers more skilled care. Resident or family can request a transfer to another room. A doctor's order is required for transferring if it's to a different level of care, like you were going to take somebody from the medical unit to ICU, you couldn't just do that on your own. But if it's in the same level of care, they can be moved. Discharge. A discharge is official after the doctor writes the discharge order that releases the resident to leave. So a lot of times the doctor may come in the day before and say, I'm going to discharge you tomorrow, but until he comes in and writes that order, they cannot be discharged. So AMA stands for Against Medical Advice. A resident decides to leave the facility without a doctor's order. There is a form. If somebody's saying they're going to leave, you should notify your nurse immediately because she needs to address getting that AMA form signed. There's a couple of things with AMA they need to know. Sometimes if they leave against medical advice, then the insurance won't cover their stay, and things like that. So the nurse needs to make sure they're aware of all that before they head out the door. Pain, remember these points about pain, is important to monitor as vital signs. So when they say vital signs, they're still considering pain, temperature, pulse, respiration, blood pressure, and pain. It is uncomfortable and an individual experience. Take complaints of pain seriously and ask questions to get accurate information. So, if you can ask them what kind of pain, is it radiating, stabbing, that's a better, ask a little more, what's their pain scale. That is better to report the nurse than just going and telling the nurse their stomach hurts. Just be more specific, and then that will lot more likely get you a response that needs more attention. Is pain objective or subjective? Objective is what we see, feel, sense, touch. Subjective is what they tell us. So yes, pain is subjective. We can't see or feel their pain. I mean, sometimes you can see the squinting, signs of pain, but if they tell you are in pain, we are not to say that they're not. This is an example of the pain scale, 0 to 10. 0 is no pain, and 10 is the worst pain imaginable. There's usually a little picture thing they can point and tell you what their pain scale is. Remember to take these measures to reduce pain. Report complaints of pain promptly to the nurse. Check on the resident often. Assist in frequent changes of position. Encourage slow, deep breaths if the resident is having difficulty breathing. Always be patient, caring, and gentle and empathetic. Nonverbal signs of pain would be agitation or tension, change in behavior, crying, sighing, groaning, breathing heavily, difficulty moving or walking. And I would say too, when you check their vital signs, a lot of times when they're in pain, their blood pressure will be up as well. And that is the end of that one. Thank you.